Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Mickey Daigle, and I am doing this Zoom from my home in Gonzales, Louisiana. And I am so excited to be able to introduce to you tonight our guest speaker, Dawn Rathmann. Dawn is well known in the Juice Plus world as a PMD Plus. She's a founder chosen by Jay Martin. She's a 100 Club member who is at the top. She's one of the top income earners in the company, and she's a mentor to so many people, creating leadership throughout this company. And she's a former music educator. Her passion shines through to so many of us. So we know, Dawn, that you have a background in music. We know that about you. But what is it that we don't know about Dawn Rothman? That's what
Oh,
I'd like to know. And I bet you have a little tidbit you could tell us.
so many things, but one of the things that probably most people wouldn't think about me is I grew up on a farm in northern Minnesota, and I used to love to ride motorcycles with my dad. So we'd get done with working during the day, and we'd take them out and ride these country roads, and we had so much fun. And anyway, that's one little tidbit that you may not know.
Can y'all just see Dawn riding those motorcycles right now? Seeing her, she's well known for her creativity, and I can just see her being creative in that portion of her life too. So, we want you to take us back to the beginning, Dawn. So, what first opened your eyes to Juice Plus? And I'm going to give you a few questions here. What opened your eyes to Juice Plus? Was it the product, the people, the timing, or something even deeper than that? And what ultimately inspired you to not just try the products, but to say yes to the mission and ultimately build a business around it?
Yeah, that's a big question, but
That's a lot.
really it was a series of invitations. And I think that when I put out the promo message for this call, I was thinking, well, what really made me want to do it? Well, it was the invitations, one thing at a time that somebody gave me that made me say yes because they listened to me and they knew what was interesting to me. So what initially made me interested, I was just standing in line by this lady who had these weird keychain, and I said, "What's that?" And she says, "Oh, those are my Juice Plus. I keep my Juice Plus in there." So that was the beginning. So, tip, wear some clothes that people can ask about and create curiosity with. But anyway, so she was telling me a little bit about that. She asked me if I was interested in nutrition, and I said, yeah. And the reason I was is my son was was an athlete, and he had gotten mono, and he just didn't have his energy back. So anyway, that was my initial interest. And then another little tidbit story too. She gave me this tape. We had tapes back then. I brought it home and had every intention of listening to it. But when she called me back a week later, I was kind of surprised even she called me. But she called me back, and I was so embarrassed because I hadn't listened to it. So tip number two, people don't always do what they want to do or do what they say, but that doesn't mean they're not interested. So I listened to the tape and I was really fascinated. And so then when she asked me if I wanted to order it, I said, well, how much is it? And she told me, and honestly, I'd been paying over $1,000 a month in nutritional therapies and stuff for my son, IVs and everything to boost his immune system. So I was thinking, oh my gosh, this is just, something you get at Walgreens or something. So I told her no because it was too cheap. But it's all about your perspective, right? So anyway, then she told me about the immune study. There's an immune study that just came out that year about Juice Plus really helping your immune system. So I thought, well, why not give it a try? So we did. And then she just kept inviting me, but I was busy. I had a 60-hour-a-week job, and I was not available most nights. We had rehearsals, but she kept asking me to go to events. And so one night I was free, and we went again. And anyway, the point is that she never gave up on me. She picked me up in her clean van, and nobody ever took care of me. I was in charge of everything myself, and so she picked me up. And you might not have thought that you might not think that some people are wanting to be cared for, but they are. I certainly was. So I appreciated that about her. And so the takeaway from that too is people treating people gently, generously, and patiently. So anyway, I just started to go to events, and through that summer, I realized that oh my gosh, this Juice Plus really does work. And although my son didn't have any results till he came home at Christmas time, I just really understood that all the people that were sharing their stories at events made me believe in the product and made me just fall in love with the community. So that's my initial interest. I fell in love with the product and the community because of events.
Great. I love that answer. So, um, I think the next question is we can say that we've probably all been there with this, and it's that moment that we catch that bigger vision. Um, that moment can be so powerful. Sometimes it's not about just saying yes right away. It's about becoming open to something that we hadn't really considered before. It's something new. Can you share how attending conference that makes a difference shifted your thinking and how that glimpse of what's possible shaped your next steps?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So, really, I had nothing against the business. And actually, I was sharing Juice Plus, not really thinking I was in a business. So, I had what we call a qualified business. For those of you who are new, that just means I had a nice customer base. But I wasn't interested in the business because I had one huge limiting belief, and that was I didn't have time for a business. And I didn't want a business because I loved and was passionate about what I did with my church music. So why did I go to conference? Well, because I really liked the people, and they said I was going to meet other people there, and so I said yes, and so I went there. But when I that moment uh, of changing my perspective, it was Jay Martin, because he said, if you understand that Juice Plus is fruits and vegetables, and you believe that Juice Plus or fruits and vegetables are beneficial to your health, he said, you're probably on it. So check, right? I was on Juice Plus. And he says, if you have a family and they do what you say and you care about them, you probably have them on it too. And I thought, check, my family definitely was on it. And they said, most people have friends like them. So if you care about your friends and you care about Juice Plus, you can probably share with a few friends and build what we call a qualified business. And again, that's, maybe about 20 customers or with various products, but let's just round it off to 25 customers or about 12, 13 families. And I thought, so I checked there. So if you build that customer base, he says, you'll probably be making around $500. And that was exactly what I was making at the time. I'd gone to that third level, that top position level, and was making $500 a month. So, every event I went to, it's like you look under the hood and it comes true. So, I'm listening and I'm believing because all the other people I knew in Just Plus were trustworthy. But then he said, let me share with you the business in a simple way. He says, most people, again, have friends like they are. So if you shared what you did with three other people, you'd have what we call a three club, three other people with a qualified business making about $500 a month. He said you'd have spending money to pay for your products, you'd have spending money to just do fun things together, and you'd really be helping people if you believe in the benefits of Juice Plus. So I thought, yep, that seems reasonable. Okay. He said, let me take it one step further, and I'll stop there because I don't want to blow your mind. If you built that three club, you'd be making going from $500 a month to about $1,500 a month. And if you did that one more time, you taught those three people who qualified to teach three other people to qualify. You'd be what we call a 12 club, 12 different people who had a nice customer base. And you may be making anywhere from $25,000 a year to however big those clubs go. So I thought about that and it just clicked in my mind. That duplicatable system made sense to me. And I was excited about it. I was having fun with the community already. So I thought, I think I can maybe do that. So anyway, it shifted and it kind of changed everything. The duplicatable system that was that simple, if that's really true, made me open to really take a look at what this business would take for me to do it too.
So I think you probably are answering the next question I have. So your vision became clearer after you were at conference, but how did you do that switch or reconcile the difference the music career and starting your Juice Plus business and getting all this together because you were a very busy lady. So how did that happen? How were you able to do that? Did you have you talked about mindset skills kind of changed a little bit, but did you have a strategy? What did you have? What was it?
Well, it started with actually believing it. So I went home and I was asking all these other people who had done this business before if that was true, and they said yes. So I proceeded, and then I thought, with anybody, you need a plan, you need a vision, you need a plan, and then you need to really set aside time to do it. So as a music teacher, I had times during the week that I had rehearsals and classes, and I had times during the week that I had planning sessions. So I thought, well, if I'm going to do this, I need to get a list of people who I want to, share Juice Plus with. And I want to think about who are those 3 people or 5 people or whatever. What kind of characteristics would they have to have? And how could I really wanted to build a community? So the vision that started to really work in my mind was the vision of a restaurant. Juice Plus is food. We kept hearing that. Juice Plus is food, and it's healthy food. And I thought, what does a really successful restaurant do? Well, restaurant, they have servers and they have managers and they have cooks and all kinds of things. But really, the impact of the restaurant, you want a restaurant to have good quality food, good quality service, an atmosphere and a culture that you want to go back to. So what if I could create the Juice Plus business like a restaurant who had repeat customers and they just loved their experience? And I saw that happening in other people's homes, so I wanted to do that myself. And I thought, how is this going to be sustainable? That's the other thing that was a limiting belief. I thought, you get customers, but they'll probably go away. But then I thought, if you really do a good job in helping people be lifelong believers in Juice Plus, you can sustain that qualified business. So I just took my pen to paper and planned it, and got together twice a week with a couple other new partners that I got, and we started sharing Juice Plus together.
But one of the things that I've always really loved about you is your passion and your heart. That's one of the things that have always attracted me to Dawn Rathmann and her creativity and all. So you build a business that isn't just about getting customers. It's about creating a culture that lasts. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this. Why do you believe serving customers well is the foundation for building a strong team? And how does that tie into your restaurant analogy? I've heard you speak about this before. In fact, I've even seen a little bit of a presentation that you've put together about this analogy. So is there any way that you could share some of that with us tonight? I know the everybody would love it.
So I put some pictures together, and I boiled it down to a few things. And I'll show you what was in my mind. So can you see that?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Well, anyway, so here's a restaurant, right? And oops, sorry. Here's a restaurant, and here's the 3 main people that we want to think about: the server on the left, a manager on the right, and the owner in the center, and the owner on the right in orange. So why do I say that? Because really, those people sitting around the tables need to have other people than the owner taking care of them. And yet the server, she comes in new, she doesn't know what to do. How does she know what that owner wants the culture of that restaurant to look like and be? How to make the food and make sure that, when people order something, they get the same thing every time. So it's not like a roll the dice when you go to that restaurant. So anyway, just imagine that. And I'm thinking, well, the answer to your question, why does customer service is everything. You don't have a business if they don't have customers coming to that restaurant. And how to keep them coming back, of course, is the quality of your service. So anyway, I keep doing that. Sorry. Okay, so what do they do? Sorry. Okay, so what do? They have a system, right? So they teach each other, work together, have fun together, just like we do when we get ready for an event in our home or an event online or go to an event in our area. So, we have a system, and we teach the system. And the restaurant, notice the owner, I've got her on the right, she's watching over all this stuff. She's not letting everybody else just do their thing and roll the dice and hopefully it's going to be okay. She's really involved because she cares. So they learn how to do that, and then I am so sorry. And then here's the system part of it. Notice most of that looks the same, right? That's really important. We want to have a duplicatable system that everybody knows so that nobody's surprised and everybody's comfortable and is comfortable doing their job. Okay, and then what's the other thing? We need to imagine a restaurant owner that doesn't ever compliment their servers or their managers or whatever. Well, they're not going to do a good job. They're going to have a bad attitude. So it's the job of the owner, the restaurant owner, to help them have a good attitude and reward them for their efforts. So those are some basic things that I think are really important. And you know, what do you think when you think about a restaurant? What do you think creates a successful restaurant that's known around the town for years and years and years? Just think about that for a minute. What do they do? Yeah, they do those things, right? They serve well. But here's the other thing. The reason I think that's so important to have that owner have that mindset is because guess what? If that server and that manager want to become their own restaurant owner, they need to have the skills to do that. So that's where we get into how we connect this to our marketing plan. But I think it's really just important that we serve them well while they're under our care, and then we have this happy restaurant. And then when we get into our home, it's the same thing. This is how it connects. This is our restaurant at home, right? And we duplicate that system, teach others to do the same. And the most important thing is attitude, customer service, and duplicating that. Now, the other thing is in a restaurant, we don't have all the overhead and all the payroll and all that kind of stuff. And so our business is so much simpler than that. And just think about the difference. However, we can't make it too simple that we don't do anything. So the thing is, I think people forget about the partners and the servers and the managers sometimes, and they don't really oversee those people's customers. They just think they're their customers, and I think that's when then they just go on to build team. And if they're just team, that's great. But while they're under your care, kind of as a sales coordinator, that's like an owner. While they're under your care, just really teach them well. And then when they have their own restaurant, hopefully they're going to be just like you and teaching their team well. That's it. You're on mute, Mickey. Mickey, you're on mute.
Okay, now Carrie had me on mute. He wouldn't allow me to unmute. Sorry about that, guys. Well, I love this analogy, and I've heard you say it before, and it just makes so much sense. So, you, I hope it's as clear to you as it was to me when I first heard it. I just love it. So, can you show us how the roles of server, manager, and owner line up with the first three steps in our compensation plan, how it all lines up and how that makes sense it's gonna, the light bulb will come on when you see what Dawn's getting ready to give to us. Do you have those slides, Dawn?
Sure do. Okay, so here's another picture of another party. So here we have our compensation plan. And so we're going to make this work now with our analogy of really just developing a community that we're the leader of. So we have partner plus, all these different steps. We're not going to go into all the stuff about them right now, it's just going to be concepts, because if we make this business complicated, especially if you're new, you don't really need to. Like me, all I just thought about is I wanted to get to sales coordinator and then make the people happy in that group. So here's the steps. Step 1, partner plus. Step 2, QSC. Again, just remember step 1, step 2. And then along the way to that third step, sales coordinator, we want to think about, building our own customer base. So as that top level, they have their customer base. We want our managers to have their customer base and the servers too. So imagine, what does a server have? A server really usually has a table of 3, 4, 2, whatever. But that's like, I'll show you in a minute what the requirements are for that partner plus. But they don't necessarily have a lot of customers, but we want them to take care of those customers so they stay. And then when somebody adds more customers, like a manager, he has more responsibility. So he adds more customers, and then he gets that title and he gets rewarded for that. And I'll show you a little bit the money a little bit later. And then we want him to build his own qualified business, even though we've got it. So our restaurant keeps getting bigger and bigger. See, the whole idea is this step 3. Once you're that owner, it's your restaurant. You want to support your servers and managers and let them make income too. And so the great news is we don't have to pay our servers and managers. They basically pay themselves by getting rewarded for what they get on their customers that they bring in. So there's how that relates. And I'm going to go to really, well, how do you get to those positions? What do you have to do? So again, this position is like a server. Step 1, has a few people. This position is like a manager, has more people, and you want to encourage them. And some managers, are just a manager in training. They want their own restaurant. Others, maybe they don't get the vision right away, but they want to make more money and they're willing to have more responsibility. So they want a qualified business. And then, qualified business looks like about 25 customers, could be trio customers, quad customers, we've got all kinds of products. Our Illuminate and superfoods are there too. But basically, the idea is build a solid customer base. And then we get to that sales coordinator step, and we want to think of them as the owner of the restaurant. And again, I think the biggest problem most people have when they're going up and up is they forget about the people in this group, their customers, the customers of their servers, and the customers of their managers. They need to oversee that to make sure they're taken care of. And if they create their own restaurant and have that solid and buzzing and happy, then you have a way bigger chance that when they promote out, that manager promotes out to his own, that they can do the same thing. And that's when the real big money comes in, because people are all doing their job. And hopefully you don't have to go manage everybody else's restaurant, but you do have to manage your own. Okay, so here's the steps of how to get there. I'm just making this simple, not all the rules. I'm not going to put them all here, but 3 simple steps, the power of 3. So here's the restaurant, those 3 people. How do they get to those positions? So our goal is to create that reliable monthly income by adding customers and team and qualifying. Reliable monthly income. Carrie told me, what, you better explain that, right? So reliable monthly income means that income that comes from every month when you're on vacation, every month when you're helping a new person. It just comes in over and over again if it's stable, if those customers keep coming back. So what's step 1? How do you get to step 1 to be that server, Partner Plus? Well, it's kind of simple. Just think of 3 trios, or it could be quads, whatever adds up to 900 points in our product line. So 900 points is the deal, but the example is 3 trios here. Okay, how about step 2, to be that manager? Well, he had to get that Partner Plus first, so now he's a Partner Plus, and he's going to need 12 trios, which is 3,600 points. So if he has 3 trios, and he gets, the requirement is that 1,200 or 2,600 points, or 3,600 points, excuse me, or 12 trios, quads, whatever, anything that amounts to 3,600. And the requirement is just 1 Partner Plus. He at least has to have 1 partner to be that manager level. But wouldn't it be easier if he just did 3? He got 3, got to Partner Plus, and then he got 3 other people to work right alongside him to achieve that 3,600 quickly. And so that's what it takes. And then now he's going to say, okay, now I'm going to go pull up my sleeves and get some more customers so I can qualify my business, on his way to sales coordinator, or that 3rd step, which is like an owner. The owner, again, is in charge of that whole thing, that restaurant. That is not, I think that's the biggest problem everybody has. On our dashboard, the people on our dashboard are in our back office are these people. And that's our priority. That's like the kids who still live with us. So anyway, I'm just encouraging you to know how to, for me, I was working a 60-hour week, and how I figured that I could continue my music is I had to be efficient. So I just knew what to focus on, and then helped others do the same. So the example here is, okay, so now you got your 3 people, but you have 2 Partner Pluses and a QS and a manager, or 2 servers and a manager. You need 36 trios or the actual number is 10,800. And you might say, okay, well, that's great. We got to that title, but what do I make? Well, we have lots of ways to make money in our compensation plan. But right now I'm going to talk about the rewards. So the sponsor, or the achiever, gets the award for that title, and so does their sponsor for helping them. So if you add that up, on the bottom right, you can see that it's in 90 days, if you do step 1 in 30 days, you get $100. Step 2, get $400 for that if you do it in 2 months. And in 90 days, if you do all that in 90 days, you get $600 in step 3. So that totals $1,100 in your first 90 days. You don't have to do it in 90 days, but you can if you want to. And now the thing is, it pays you to pay attention to the people you bring in, not just your customers, but your team members. So you get a sponsor reward of $100 for each Partner Plus, and you have 3 of them ultimately, because you're Partner Plus before you come to QSC, and then $400 for your QSC. So that's plus $700. So again, in your first 90 days, there's your $1,800. Does that make sense? Did I say that slow enough? It's a lot of stuff, but it's fun, and it is simple. Just think about filling up your restaurant, and don't have to pay the rent. Now, the benefits of qualifying a business. What's the difference between the title rewards, which I just showed you for each position, and qualifying your business? It's reliable monthly income. That's the difference. Because one-time title rewards or sponsor rewards, you can keep getting them forever, sponsoring people forever. But when you want that check to come in month after month to pay your bills, this is what matters. Building that stable customer base. So as you add customers and team, this becomes the largest part of your paycheck. And here we have step one again, the server. Step two, the manager. And once you get to be manager, like I said before, you can qualify your business and get paid on that. And here's your reliable monthly income. The exact points is 1,800 points or performance bonus volume. Just think of points. And I'll show you how to get those points in a minute. That equals a qualified business, or about 25 customers. So I'm going to do the math for you now. Over on the left, you see the trio. We're going to use the trio example again. A trio 4-month supply when it comes to your house is 300 points. But if you pay an installment, you divide that by 4-month supply, 75 points a month. Okay, so 24 trio installment orders or any combination of products that create 1,800, okay? So if you multiply 75 times, 24, you get that 1,800. And they come, you don't have to do it alone either. Just like that right away, that manager, he got Partner Plus himself and he got 3 other Partner Pluses. So from you, your customers, your partners, and your Partner Pluses, that's where those points come in. So now we're going to talk about why go to step 3 if you can do all that with step 2. Well, because you do make more money. At step 1, you make 15%. At step 2, you make 20% on your own customers. And at step 3, you make 25% on your own customers. So just remember that when you're thinking about your customers, that's if you want to know the income about that, it's 25 for a sales coordinator, step 3, 20 for manager, and 15 for that Partner Plus. So now we're going to actually roll up our sleeves. We're going to have examples of sales coordinator income from their own customers. So one trio customer is worth $18.75 a month to you. How do you know that? Well, you take that 75 points times 25% if you're a sales coordinator, and that's what you get. Now, if you qualified and had 24 customers that were trio customers, you'd be making $450 a month. Okay. But a lot of people love the trio. They see value in the quad because, we add those omegas. So what is an omega customer worth to you a month as a sales coordinator? Well, omegas is 420 points for the 4-month supply, or 105 a month. So you take that times 25% and you get $26.25 a month. Or 24 quad customers are $630 a month. Every month, besides all the other title rewards you get when you do stuff. But this is just on your customers. Now we know that we don't always only get trio customers or quad customers, or they're all over the place. We've got lots of products. And so again, that 1,800 can apply to any products, and it's the same amount of money. So now think about this next step. My husband and I are addicted to the complete, like many people are over years. I mean, for 25 years we've been taking it, and so with so many other people. So what does that mean? It means he takes the quad every day, so do I. So we have a 4-month supply each of that. And then we go through a box of 60 servings of shakes a month, because it's 30 days in a month. So he uses up 30, I use up 30. So if you had only one quad order on installment and you used up a shake a month, you would be making $61.25 a month on that kind of an order. And that would go to almost $1,400 a month for 24 quad shake customers. Now, at this point, hopefully they've seen the value of becoming a partner. But anyway, at any rate, if they don't, you're still going to have lots of customers like that. So is that clear? Have I made that clear, Mickey? Okay, great.
Yes, very.
All right, now get ready. Drum roll for the big picture, right? How do you make 6 figures?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Hold your seats. So it's all about keeping track of those customers. Build a strong customer base and help others do the same for that reliable monthly income that grows and grows and grows, as long as you take care of your restaurant, and then you support your partners who become sales coordinators themselves in supporting their customers in their restaurant. But you don't have to do every restaurant. See, that's the deal. In a regular business, you have to buy one, and then you have to buy another one, hundreds of thousands of dollars, not us, $52. So anyway, here we go. If you qualify your business and build a customer base of about 25 customers with any combination of products, then you'll be making about $500 a year or $6,000 a year, 500 a month, which is where I came in at that conference. So in a way, it was kind of easy for me to believe it because I already done that part. But I thought just getting three other people to do that same thing and all the fun we could have. Oh my gosh. So I went home and I thought, okay, who's my three, and how can I? And so who did I look for? I looked for people with characteristics that were responsible. They loved to serve others. They were kind, like that image. I had an image of that restaurant. What do I like about the server? Well, that's what I wanted for my partners I brought in. So you teach three or more people to do the same thing, and then you will be making about $1,200 a month or 15,000 a year. What would you do with 15,000 a year or more? This is on top of whatever else you're doing now. I won't go over it because I don't have time, but there's so many statistics that I read about the average income of Americans, the average debt of Americans, the average college debt, the baby boomers. Most baby boomers don't have any savings, and of the ones that do, they only have two. They only have saved in their 401k about $230,000. Well, that's not going to last long. So people need money, and we get to give them this gift of health and wealth. So anyway, if you then, and three club just means anywhere from three to the next level here that I'm going to share, which is 12 club. So on the way to 12, on the way after three club, you keep building that, and they teach three team members to build their three club. Then you're a 12 club, which is what happened to me, exactly what happened to me actually. And then you're making about 3,000 a month or 30,000 a year, and you do that one more time. You help develop leaders who build their own 12 club, and there's your about $100,000 a year. And for me, that happened in 2.5 years. I don't know if that's helpful or not to say, but I was intentional about my time. You get what you schedule, and if you're a pleasant person and you know what to focus on, not chasing every rabbit and every problem that might come up, you probably can do this in whatever amount of time you want. But I want to read the disclaimer at the bottom. Individuals' income within a club range vary depending on the number of clubs they have, obviously, and the volume of the performance bonus qualifiers in them. So you remember we saw that you can have a qualified business and make $1,600 a month if you had great big orders, although we convert them over, but they count too. And so just to be, if you've got skinny little clubs, you're not going to make as much as if your restaurant's full of people. And with that, just imagine your restaurant filled with happy people coming over and over again, and you don't have to take care of everybody else's restaurant, but you get to get together at conferences and boot camps and all those places, and you can get together in between on conference calls because these people have been my mentors. So, Carrie, I mean,
I'm here.
Vicki.
Everybody always gets Carrie and Mickey Daigle confused. This is so fun. I love watching this plan come to the way it works because as much as I love our products, I just love our business model and I love numbers. I love seeing these numbers happen. And gosh darn, that's the best I'm seeing on chat, best vision casting that people have ever seen. And that's what you've done for them today. So I know you've gotten a lot of people so excited. So I have one last question, and this is it. What does having it all, that's the title, that was the title of our Zoom. This is what we promoted. So what does having it all look like for Dawn Rathmann?
Well, I'm just going to start out. I talked about the farm in the beginning, and now I 2 years ago I moved to Virginia, and we have all this wonderful acreage, and I just enjoy nature more than ever. Can't believe I get to live right next to my son and his family, and they have acreage too, and look at the beautiful scenery that God made every day. So that's part of it. But for me, having it all, didn't come in just one big moment. It came from saying yes to one meaningful invitation and experience after another. I think you're on the call here, Lois. So thank you, Lois. You've been just I could go on and on about that experience that I first had. But this community has shaped me. The mentoring, the experiences, they've shaped me and helped me grow in ways that I could have never imagined. Juice Plus has given me and my family better health, and this business model has given me the choices I never thought I'd have at all. So yes, it takes effort. Yes, it takes planning. Yes, it stretches me. But yes, it's worth it. It's so worth it. And so today, with deep gratitude to God and Juice Plus, I get up every morning knowing I'm living a full life of joy and abundance. I love this community because it supports me as I try to live my life to the fullest physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, relationally, and yeah, financially as well. So that's what having it all looks like to me, Mickey. And my hope is that anyone listening today will be inspired to say yes to building something of their own, something stable, meaningful, and rooted in a mission and vision that enables you to realize your dreams.
Well, I know you have inspired many to really look at your what we have today. What do we have with our comp plan and how do we make it work and not complicate it? As so many people try to complicate this. I love what was on the top of the right-hand corner of one of your slides where the power of three, that's what it's all about. If you just learn how to, duplicate what you've done, it works. So here you go. There you had it from Dawn Rathmann, superstar. She has given you the clearest picture she could possibly give to help you to build your business and become that 5 or 6, you know, thousand. What do you want? What do you 500? As she said, she wanted 500 when she started, $500 a month. That's it. Or that's where she saw what she had going for her when she first went to conference. So what do you want? Maybe you don't want to be, the big income earner. Maybe you just need to buy the kids some shoes. That's what I like to say. That's where I was when I started. Just wanted to buy the kids some shoes and I wanted to be able to be a stay-at-home mom. And 36 years now, and that's what we were able to do, thanks to my husband Kerry for helping me also. So you had a clear vision here. So I want to thank all of you for joining the Keep Punching University Zoom here for you every Monday night. And be sure to, Carrie, if you want to stop the recording.